The internet is honestly the perfect vessel for horror. You can never trust any information that's uploaded because you can never really know where it came from. An air of authenticity can be added to anything, making scary stories extra believable. But then again, who put it there? Over the years, creepypasta has evolved. What was once a bunch of campfire stories inputted digitally has now become a sprawling network of terrifying information supporting itself and many other connected stories. The storytelling depth that can be achieved by modern horror maestros is mind-boggling to say the least, as demonstrated by some of the projects we're going to discuss today. ARGs, or alternate reality games, are forms of online interactive storytelling that encourage community input as information is revealed. Popularized in ad campaigns for movies like The Blair Witch Project and The Dark Knight, these instances had fans solve puzzles and follow the clues in order to be the first to access promotional materials. Hardcore fans and logical thinkers could put their knowledge to the test in order to get a leg up on those who weren't in the know. Flash forward to today and we have ARGs referencing other ARGs to put the fear in a whole new generation of scare seekers. This is the horror storytelling of the future, as it encourages people to completely suspend their disbelief as they dig deeper and deeper into the mysteries presented by the creators. Online communities band together and feed off the passion and terror of others in the search for one last clue that will piece everything together. It's like an ad hoc detective agency. Hello horror heads, and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host, Keegan Hughes, and today we're plumbing the depths of internet lore as we take a look at the top 5 scariest online ARGs. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more secretive stuff. Alright, let's go. Starting us off at number 5, we have Daisy Brown. Take a look at this monster. Like, that alone is enough to draw horror fans young and old. Already you want to know why the hell this young girl is feeding this horrific fleshy goblin thing. Daisy's YouTube channel went up in 2017 and she very quickly amassed a sizable following. Each video tells the audience a little more about the girl and her monster dependent, Alan, who was left behind when Daisy's scientist dad just disappeared. At first, Alan is sweet and helpless and needs Daisy to take care of him in order to survive. But soon, he grows and becomes violent and uncontrollable. All of this is shown to the audience in the form of video logs, which Daisy uploads from time to time. In these logs, we see her go about her daily life, feeding Alan, reading books, playing solitaire. We never get to see her face, but we often do see unexplained injuries show up on her arms and legs, no doubt sustained by taking care of Alan. We learn that she lives alone, which is strange for a girl of her young age, and that she was always encouraged to stay inside and to avoid the outside world. She doesn't know much about anything outside the confines of her house, and even then she tends to avoid the basement and attic. There are subtle clues placed throughout the videos alerting the audience to something very wrong going on, if the monsters weren't already there to tell you that something wrong was happening. We learn about the toxic family environment from before the dad left and the mental and physical strain imposed on innocent Daisy throughout her life. References to different books, movies, and different types of plants throughout give the community plenty to ponder in between episodes. As Alan grew stronger and Daisy less stable, the audience began to really worry for her safety. Interactions on Twitter grew much more panicky until the climax of the series. In the end, these fears were well founded. It's been finished for over a year now, so you can go back and watch it in its entirety. Grab some sugar water and some pizza and binge the whole thing. Coming in at number 4, Alan Tutorial. Alan again, huh? This is a different Alan though, but there is a very real connection between the two. We'll get to that in a bit. This was originally thought to be a strange tutorial channel run by a young man with no business running a tutorial channel. Alan, a reclusive young man, is seemingly obsessed with giving tutorials a la Expert Village, but also seems to have no skills or even the slightest inkling of what people actually want in a tutorial. It starts out almost comically, with short videos of Alan babbling incessantly while he shows the audience how to fill a small tub of dirt or how to pick up a blue chair. People memed on this, and they dismissed it as a failure to create compelling content. However, it soon took a dark twist. Alan gets locked out of his room and is left to fend for himself. He's not very good at this, but he persists in putting out tutorials as he struggles to survive. It's apparent from the start that Alan has poor mental health and uses these videos as a coping mechanism. It's implied that he's neglected and abused, part of why his tutorials are always so nonsensical. Eventually, after roughing it for a long while, he's captured and forced to make tutorials while locked in a small room. At first he rebels and attempts to make different content, but soon goes back to the comfort zone of making tutorials, similar to the ones that he made before. As this happens, the room becomes disgusting and unlivable, and all hope for Alan's safety does seem to be lost. If nothing else, this series is a fascinating descent into madness. Watching it now, it's easy to outline the story, but consider that when it was getting started, all people saw were inconsistently uploaded tutorial videos from a clearly disturbed person. It's fascinating, creepy, and tragic all at the same time. The community surrounding it has analyzed the themes and events deeply, maybe even too deeply. There are arguments about it being a commentary on internet fame and the monetization of digital content. Could also be about influencer culture, the compulsion to go viral, and even the lack of commitment and understanding from many would-be content creators. And at number 3, this house has people in it. Alan, again. Okay, I'll elaborate. So Alan Resnick is a comedian, visual artist, and filmmaker who's well known for his contributions to the Adult Swim lineup of shorts. He's also one of the most prolific ARG creators out there right now. Alan from Daisy Brown is actually a reference to Mr. Resnick. They took influence from him. They wanted the audience to pay closer attention once they realized that connection. Resnick is also the mind behind Alan Tutorial, which makes a lot of sense if you look at the rest of his work. This House Has People in It was created by Resnick and is an insane, surreal, surveillance-fueled journey through the depths of a family's psyche. On a first viewing, it just appears to be security footage of a family preparing for a birthday party. Grandma's watching the baby and TV. The son is waiting for his guests, looking out the windows. Mom and dad are preparing food and arguing a little, and the daughter is phasing through the floor into the basement. Hold on, what? Things get more and more chaotic as the parents attempt to save the daughter, culminating in them catching her body with a mattress in the basement. You could just watch it, feel stressed, and then leave it be. It's like 12 minutes long. But that wouldn't even come close to scratching the surface of all the mysteries here. There's all sorts of stuff going on in the background. And in the video description, there's a link to the security company's website. If you input the correct login credentials, which are hidden somewhere in the video, you get access to all sorts of new information. It turns into a file directory of sorts with links to everything from the family's emails to a video game about Boomy the cat. Boomy the cat is a very popular character. He's a blue cat, and he is also a fast cat. Kids and adults both seem to really like Boomy. He is popular on TV and in video games. In an interview with Vice, Resnick said that he and the team would add infinite new details forever if they could, and make it sort of a rabbit hole that never ends. The holy grail would be to make something so convoluted that only the most committed and dedicated of online detectives could fully understand it. There's so much to find here that I can't even begin to even start to explain it all. So give it a look yourself, or maybe hop on the Reddit community and see what they have to say. They're always mining for new information. Just be wary of Lynx disease, okay? Nobody wants that. Coming in at number 2, Petscop. This is a popular series of YouTube videos that appear to be a let's play of a 90s era PS1 game. Starting about 2 years ago, it's a brightly colored animal collecting game that's soon revealed to be much more than that. Beneath the bouncy polygons, there is a deeply unsettling, violent story of kidnapping, suffering, and more, and it actually references real-life child killings. There are 24 videos, the latest being uploaded in late 2019, in which the narrator Paul walks us through a game that he supposedly found. At first, it seems to be an unfinished game with only one level to explore. The text prompts are strange and nothing seems to happen as he collects the different pets made available. At the end of the first level, Paul ends up in a dark world that was not previously available, and the rest is history. Each episode after that reveals more grisly details. Children's graves, creepy sprites, presences that seem to follow the player in and out of rooms, you name it. People watching wanted to know whether it was real or not, and they wanted to know really badly. Did the game actually exist? Who made this game? Why is it so disturbing? The community soon realized that there were even references to the Candace Newmaker incident and rebirthing. This is a real-life, controversial story about an adopted child who was killed. Candace was troubled and apparently killed some pets. So her adoptive parents decided to try something called attachment therapy to see if they could make her trust them more. The goal of this would be to revert the child back to an infantile state so that they can connect with her better, but it's not backed by any sort of science or evidence. They specifically tried something called rebirthing, which is where the child is wrapped in blankets to simulate the womb and forced to fight their way out. Candace suffocated and died the next day. What makes this truly chilling is the fact that the therapists just allowed this to happen, and even after Candace said that she couldn't breathe, she begged for her life, continued. Petscop references this throughout, which led the community to try to find the link between the two. Recently, the creator has actually stepped forward and aired some questions on a Twitter account, but I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll let you explore that yourself. And finally, at number 1, Marble Hornets. This is the OG Slenderman ARG, the one that started it all. Slenderman may seem like a goofy internet boogeyman at this point, but back in 2009, he was the online horror story. Marble Hornets was the first of many ARGs to explore the mythos surrounding the Slender Spectre, and it actually set the tone for others to follow. We're introduced to Jay Merrick, played by series creator Troy Wagner, as he attempts to piece together the events leading to the disappearance of his friend Alex Crayley, played by collaborator Joseph Delage. Jay goes through some footage from Alex's unfinished student film, Marble Hornets, and discovers all sorts of disturbing stuff. Alex's mental and physical health were rapidly deteriorating through filming, and a strange tall figure can be seen watching from the distance in all sorts of situations. As Jay tries to find more clues, he begins experiencing the same things as Alex was. This story spanned over 3 seasons, multiple YouTube channels and social media pages, and over 100 episodes in the end. It's a complex, interwoven, and sprawling narrative that is equal parts noir and horror. It popularized the use of found footage, title card narration, proxy characters for the big bad, and much more in the Slenderman ARG world. Shoutouts to Everyman Hybrid, Tribe 12, and Dark Harvest for expanding on the lore and making equally excellent Slendy projects. Marble Hornets is some seriously good stuff, turning a low budget for fun thing into a full-fledged internet phenomenon. There's way too much to talk about here, like To the Ark and all the masked and hooded characters, even the operator himself, so I'll leave that for somebody else to explain. Plus, it spawned a follow-up series, a comic book, and even a studio-backed feature film. I can't recommend this one enough. It's what really pulled me into online horror back in 2009, and it still does hold up today. Just remember, everything is fine. Man, ARGs are just about the coolest way to consume horror content today. I talked for like 10 minutes and didn't even come close to scratching the surface on any of these. There's actually a wicked channel called Nightmind that does really great deep dives into different ARGs, and I'd highly recommend you go check it out. Link's in the description. I can't wait to see what people do with this format in the future. It's still a very young medium with lots of potential. What do you think? What's the scariest memory you have from watching an ARG? What's your favorite one? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's have a quick look at some of your more wacky ones from last time. Sierra Gray says, "No spiders, you cannot have my eyes. I wonder if it can be killed with a homemade flamethrower." What do you think, Keegan? Yeah, man, like a can of Axe and a barbecue lighter? Sounds like my kind of spider deterrent. Just make sure you're quick, because if you miss, it's all over. Ahiera Miles says, "And here I thought my watch read list was long. I feel like Keegan's watching and reading list is longer and longer. My list was long before I hopped on top 5. Now it's like a whole book on its own. I'll add my list to my reading list." Sideswipe says, "Chicken nuggets. What's the best sauce? Barbecue? Sriracha? Plum?" Psionic Monk says, "We need Digimon Go. Makes perfect sense for a phone to be a Digivice." That is a good idea. Did anyone else have one of those like Tamagotchi style Digivice toys when they were a kid? Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. And Shala777 says, "When did he cut off the mustache?" At the stroke of midnight, January 1st, 2020. There's footage of it somewhere. And that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. So her adoptive parents tried itchy knee at the back of my knee. What's that called? The crevice, the knee armpit.